Boom. How's it going, fam? Anthony Johnson here today, founder of 21 Studios, co-founder of the Redman Group, founder of the 21 Convention, 22 Convention, 21 University, 10,000 other things on the internet, and chief investigator for the Manosphere Bureau of Investigation. Now, today's episode 166 of the Redman Group. Before we get into today's show, the title is, of course, Make Men Great Again. Very similar to my hat, Make Men Alpha Again. And our event headline this year, Make Men Alpha Again, our new motto, our new mission, to make men alpha and not a bunch of loser, weak beta males. Now, before we get into the show, our sponsor is actually our own event, 21 Summit. It actually includes 3 events in one. You can see speakers here speaking at the event this year, myself, Richard Grannon, Jack Donovan, Coach Greg Adams. It's going to be in Orlando, Florida, this October 14th to the 17th, celebrating 16 years of 21 Studios live events like the 21 Convention and even our channel itself, our main channel. It actually includes 3 events in one. So we got the Patriarch Convention here on the left, the 21 Convention for men, and the 22 Convention for women. Each event is different. Each event goes on at the same time in a larger 21 Summit space. So one is for men, one's for fathers, one's for women. Today's guest, Paul Caldwell, if I'm saying that right, Caldwell, he will be speaking at both the men's event, the 21 Convention, and the fatherhood event, the Patriarch Convention. So make sure you head out onto the event. Tickets are buy one, get one free right now, bring a friend free. And you can attend as a man, you can attend both conventions at the same time, no extra charge. Each event is geared, for a different demographic, whether you're a husband and father, you go here, or if you're a man, you go to the main event and you're single, stuff like that. It's gonna be a great event. If you got a girlfriend or a wife, you can send her to the 22 Convention for training, the ultimate in mansplaining training. We'll make her more feminine, more submissive, much better wife, lose a bunch of fat if she's like an obese pig, like a typical manosphere wife these days, unfortunately. Anyway, we'll get her back into shape, mostly joking there with that. We'll make her great again. That's what we do at that event. Now, with that said, from our sponsor, visit 21studios.com/21summit, or just 21studios.com. Link in the description. Get tickets now. Price goes up on Sunday night. So again, and then it goes up again in a few weeks after that. It keeps going up over time. So make sure you get tickets coming out to Orlando, Florida. Get off your ass, be an alpha male, take action, and stop watching YouTube videos endlessly. This one is good to watch, but not all day long every day. It's good to get out and meet men face to face. You can actually meet, like I said, today's speaker at the event and myself, buy him a drink, smoke some cigars, talk about the world, state of culture, how it's collapsing, all these various serious issues. Now, that said, I also have to make a pretty important announcement. We have breaking news in the manosphere. I came out last night, I confirmed it 100%, that one of the manosphere's toughest critics of single moms and of obese women, fat women, feminists, all this shit, Donovan Sharp, call him the King Kong of fraud. He actually, in spite of criticizing and attacking single mothers and feminists and overweight women all these years, he actually himself is secretly married to a single mother. Turns out that this woman does have a child that is not her niece. She doesn't even have a niece. Her sister, she does exist, only has a son. So she has a nephew, no niece. This is her daughter. This is her ex-husband. And her real name is Cynthia Ashlock. And her secret private married husband, Donovan Sharp, Edwin Hopkins, is married to a single mother, in spite of making fun of single mothers and making fun of the men who wife them up. Right? He calls them cucks and all these like beta males and shit like that. So it's another big expose we'll be digging into in the coming days. But I did want to make that announcement very briefly. It actually gets worse than that. I found the actual yesterday confirmed 100% that not only she divorced, which we already kind of knew, she was so nasty and so toxic that unlike 80% of divorces where the woman files first, the ex-husband actually filed for divorce against her. That is how disgusting this woman was and how much of a liar she's been for all these years in the manosphere with Donovan Sharp, pretending that she was an aunt and she's like taking care of her niece or some shit. It was all a lie. It was all bullshit. She's been a single mom the whole fucking time that this guy's been on the internet preaching to millions of beta males on YouTube and stuff, all these weak codependent simps. He actually himself wifed up a single mom, an obese one, no less, who is allegedly and reportedly menopausal at this point. I call him the master of menopause. Now, without further ado, I want to bring on our today's guest, and I want to discuss the Paul, what is your initial reaction to Donovan Sharp? There's a hot take here. Wifing up a single mom and lying about it for the past 5 years since 2017 in the Manosphere.
Hold on,
Welcome,
man.
by the way.
I'm trying to stop crying. You told me some of that, but I didn't know all of that stuff, man. That's pretty, I don't know the guy, and all I've seen is what he's displayed, all the bullshit that he said. It's really fucked up when you got dudes that do what he's done. And there's a bunch of them, but he's just the one that decided to poke your cage. It's fucked up because if this is the deal, that shit's hilarious right there. It's funny, and it's funny only because of this fake shit that he does. If this dude would have been, if he would have been honest about it, didn't go the Rich Cooper route and just said, hey, listen, people are broken. And sometimes people make mistakes, and just because she has a kid doesn't make it bad. Then this would be no factor. You know what I mean? Then people would be like, dude, you're being petty because she's not hot. Yeah. But all of that shit makes one big ball of shit. And it's hilarious because this dude, when all of this tactical aggression started toward these dudes, I said it earlier, and I don't spend a lot of time hammering the nail. They need to go away. And this right here, there'll still be dudes that look at that and go, well, you know what? He helped me through fill in the fucking blank. But at this point, if these guys don't understand that they're following characters, then it's really you're throwing pearls at pigs, man. And there's no pun intended here.
Yeah. Oh yeah, let's pull up the. I forgot we have a lot of. How could I forget? Here is Dirty Eddie, Edwin Hopkins with Cynthia Ashlock, Miss Piggy. And turns out, I thought she was just an obese older woman. That's something I want to mention too. I didn't quite mention that in my introduction when I was, giving this breaking news. But Donovan Sharp, Edwin Hopkins, is one of the most notorious critics of women post-wall. Right? That's what they call it in the Manosphere. It's not just Donovan that says it, but he's one of the most known for saying that. And his wife, his secret wife here, his private married wife or whatever, is double post-wall. She's past the 30 wall and the 40 wall, double post-wall. And is a single mom, and is overweight. It's even been reported to me, I believe it's true based on what I've seen, so it's alleged now. Last year, after my documentary, making fun of how fat she was, and Donovan was lying about it for all these years he took about 50 pounds off her weight. She was about 180, 190. He was saying she was like 130. I mean, she was a big, hefty woman. We're talking she looked like a truck,
That's a linebacker.
Yeah, she looked like a linebacker. Let's see if I still got a pic of that pulled up. Yeah, I mean, she's a big woman. I mean, she's real thick, Let me see if I got. Oh, here it is. Yeah, she's a big woman. Look at that. Thick. You like that big, thick?
I might be a center or nose guard.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
League.
She'll cover the gap real good, man. Real good. But anyway, what I was saying is, it's not only the single mom stuff. It's all of it. Yeah, like you said, a big ball of shit. She's double post wall, all this stuff. And he makes fun of men, for years now, probably 5-6 years in writing and his videos about men who wife up single moms and date older women and all this stuff. I mean, plus he's super fucking racist. He hates black people. I don't think he actually hates some black guys hate white people. I don't think he hates white people. I think he hates black people. And there's his wife.
I hear the way. Is Donovan Sharp? Is he mixed or is he all the way black?
I don't know. He looks mixed, but I think he's all black. I don't know though. I'm not even sure he knows. I think he's talked about it a little bit.
If he was mixed, I talked about that with Tony a bit on a couple nights ago. And if he was a mixed dude and had that, a similar experience that I did, then I could understand his. Not really, because what Donovan Sharp hates, he hates. I'll just use the term. In the street vernacular, he hates real niggas because probably his whole life he's been that fat, goofy dude, you know what I mean? Just sweaty, gross. He talks about his coke days. I'm sure that was just glorious. I can just see his fat slob ass just sweating all the time, trying to be a player. And, seeing the dudes that were really about that life, seeing how easy it was for them. There he is. I knew dudes that looked like him that actually had money and were what. See, this is what Donovan's tried to portray. The Biggie Smalls. Biggie had hoes because he had money. He was in that life with where everybody's chasing that bag, that issue. If he grew up around those kind of guys, and he talks about him with venom. So I'm sure they probably took his sack from him or something. They punked him. That's the only way you look at those kind of guys and go, yeah, man, fuck you motherfuckers. It's because they fucked you up. You know what I mean? You're not above them if you were dealing with that life. If you're dabbling in the white game, you don't have that life. You don't have that image, that attitude about people in that life unless they snatch your money out of your hand and slapped you and say, get the fuck out of here. Because when I was doing that shit, that's what we would do to people like him. Spineless motherfuckers come up and we used to get a lot of stuff from dudes like him that would be where they didn't belong. And so when I hear him talk about black people, this, that, when I speak about the black condition, I'm talking about fixing shit from the inside out. I'm not afraid to go in those neighborhoods. I'm not afraid to go where those people at, because I know how to speak that language. I used to live in that atmosphere. So it's not foreign to me. But at the same time, when I grew up in that atmosphere, I got made fun of because of the way I talk. That's okay. You know what I mean? You're talking shit. You talk like a white boy. Okay. What's next? If I talk like you when I go home, I'm going to get beat worse than I might get beat right here. So let's do what we need to do that just says what the fuck he needs to say right now to get people to pay attention to him.
Yeah, he's an opportunist to the extreme.
Yes. Yeah.
I've suspected for a while too, you're right, and this is, I don't know, I think there's some relation to it. The black manosphere kicked him out too a couple years ago, rejected him for being a fraud.
Well, because what he did was, I think, I don't get into all that bullshit. I pay attention to it. I think it's funny. But I think what he did, Anthony, is he got his launch by going to O'Shea or whoever that dude is, basically the gatekeeper of the black manosphere. He seems to be seems to be the conduit when those guys want to be accepted by that group. Mm-hmm. To me, I didn't join a fraternity when I was in college because I don't need anybody to give me fucking permission to do shit. Yeah. And so if you're Mexican, green, Italian, I don't need to. If you listen, you listen. If you don't, you don't. But I don't pinhole myself like that. But I think he built his following there and then jumped ship. That's what it sounds like to me. Because once he came over and started working with you, from what I gather, he shut the door to them. You know what I mean? And that's when you do that, there's a certain rule in the jungle. When you fuck over the plug, man, whenever you fuck over the plug, you better make sure. Because when you come back, man, you probably won't be able to come back. But when you come back, there will be a penance to be paid. And that goes pretty much for anything. You get blessed. Somebody says, you know what, I'm gonna give you this, come up, fool. And then you do it. Then you go link up with some other dude and say, fuck them fools, man. I'm gonna do it with you. And you never go, shit. You can find your head in a box doing that shit. And that's basically what he did. They put his head in a box and sent it back to him like, take your fucking ass back over there. We don't want you. So they started swinging on Kevin Samuel's nuts. It's been a desperate grasp. He's like a dude falling down his own well of shit, just grabbing anything like, oh no, that's another piece of shit. Like, no, he's desperate. And I think it's glorious because
that's why I call him Donovan Shart. He shit his pants hair. I mean, all the time. Fucking Shart mama.
Any of that. He didn't have to do any of that shit that he's done. You know what I mean? Like,
he did it all to himself. He's his own worst enemy. He blames me for everything. I'm like the boogeyman of this dude. I'm like John Wick to this guy.
You know what you are? And this is the deal. I grew up in a different era. When I was in the game, there were rules. There were rules and regulations, man. And the people that were playing the game, they knew what they were. And basically, it's cops and robbers. When we were doing dirty shit, I didn't get mad at the fucking detectives if and when they caught us. You know what I mean? I wasn't stoked that we got busted, but I didn't go, this motherfucking whole ass detective, did it. No, dude, you know how you don't have the detective on your ass? Don't do the thing. You know what I mean? Don't do that thing. that right there, he can blame you all he wants, and he can justify it because of the fact that you're like a fucking shark in bloody waters now because of what he did.
Yeah.
But what did you do? That's my whole message is, listen, man, you can blame women, I can blame everybody in my life, but the common denominator and everywhere I want to look is me. So it's like, shit, I sound pathetic if I look for someone else to blame. He lied, he manipulated, he used people, he turned his back. What did you think was going to fucking happen? You know what I mean? If he was dealing with people like himself, they would have been like, you know what, man, sure, Donovan, I understand. Come on, bud. You know what? You want to do the next convention? No, you're dealing with men. And when you slight a man, oh, motherfucker, there's vengeance, and it doesn't stop until you're done breathing. Not physically, but in this space, you need to breathe no more. You need to breathe no fucking more. And that's what happens when you step on snakes, bro.
I think he's gonna go. I think he's gonna go bankrupt, man. 100%.
Well,
he is bleeding cash.
Yeah, well, shit. If his old lady just got a vacuum in her fat ass, how much did that cost? You know what I mean? That wasn't free. Maybe that's why he's hemorrhaging money. He's like trying to make this 40-something-year-old chick into a 20-year-old.
Well, she's stealing all of his money. I know this game plan all day long, and I've confirmed it to a degree. But it's the MO for every chick like this: the Amber Heards of the world and the Jada Pinkett Smiths and all this crap, right? They're succubuses and they're parasites, basically. Succubus is even too kind of it. They're basically leeches, is what they are. And she's going to leech. Devon Sharp, Cynthia Ashlock, is going to leech every fucking dollar she can out of that fat fuck Edwin Hopkins, Donovan Sharp, until he's bone dry, and then she's going to leave his ass. He is too stupid and too beta and too blue pill, the exact opposite of what he preaches, to understand that. He should know that. Any legit red pill guy or whatever would understand that. Would see through the veneer of this fake single mom sucking all, and she's old, she's pushing 50 years old, all this stuff, sucking money out of him. She basically, even if you look at his channel, we'll pull it up in a second, she has taken over. Let's pull it up, actually. She's taken
and now that you just put this picture out and this shit's going to be exposed, I wouldn't be surprised if instead of that weird profile shot that they do where they're showing her straight up now.
I'm living in
the whole fucking channel is all her. Look, this is a photo. She made all this herself. She's terrible at Photoshop, but she can at least put together a simple collage like this. This is a photo of her. It doesn't even have Donovan in it. The whole fucking channel. Donovan Sharp, Edwin Hopkins, in 2017, he would have roasted a beta male like this who puts his woman on everything and took over his whole fucking business. She is the brains of the operation. She uses him as a front man to suck money out of all their little beta males that follow him, are stupid enough still to follow him. And yeah, like you said, the followers are as culpable or whatever, as guilty as he is. If you still follow this guy, you are a fucking loser. 100% stone cold, dumb fuck, low IQ, room temperature IQ, fucking beta male loser. You're an idiot. Just like this gullible fucking simp who wifed up in secret, this fat, aging, menopausal, single mom, lying piece of trash. This shit is hysterical. I mean, she took over everything. This was like explicitly against 2017, 2018 Donovan Sharp mantras and principles and all this bullshit. That's why even back then people started abandoning him, because he was like, I'll never let a woman mod my channel. What does he do? Adds her as a mod. I'll never let a woman take over this and do this. This guy is the biggest fucking simp. He makes Myron No Gains and Fresh and Fit, all these losers, he makes them look alpha, and they're beta and fake as fuck too. I mean, he makes Rollo Tomasi look like a fucking Chad Thundercock, who is himself a total fucking, let's pull that fucking loser up. Let's not forget him for a second. This fraud.
I can't watch these things anymore.
Yeah.
Like when I first came into the space and started consuming the shit, I listened to it, and initially because I was angry, I was like, that makes a little bit of sense. And then I started, and this is what to touch on your point about how his message has just been complete horse shit for all these years. There's no growth. There's no growth because there's no money in telling guys, hey, get up, dust yourself off, recalibrate your fucking brain, and get back in the fight, engage. It's too easy to go, oh man, live this life that he's not living. Like all these guys prop Donovan up to build this fake fucking life. All that shit that he had, the studio, all the shit he was doing, jumping on the boats, taking trips.
Yep.
Those dudes funded that shit. You know what I mean? That they funded it. And now because you outed him, this is what he's doing. He would have never done this if you wouldn't have fucking cut his balls off. He would have never put her on that channel. You know what I mean? Like, you fucked him up, dude.
Yeah.
Well, it kind of is your fault.
Yeah. I mean, I never had it eye for Donovan. I never hated him. In some ways, I still don't really hate him, at least not as much as he probably thinks. For me, he's like a pinata of fraud. I can just keep beating him with like a digital stick, and funny, memes keep coming out, and he's a loser. He's a bottomless pit of being a loser. So I can just keep making fun of him. And to me, that's kind of fun. Like, why not? He's a good example of a fraud. And it's not just him though. It's, there's a whole network of frauds in the manosphere, and the frauds exist beyond that too. Yeah.
There's a lot of them. It's gotten a little bit better, but it's like the ones that have survived the storm have doubled down on their douchebaggery.
Yes.
And it's just, they're especially Rolo. I accidentally heard some bullshit. Somebody else had a clip of one of his videos in their video, and I accidentally ingested it. And I swear to God, dude, not really. My bad. I don't want to get stricken down in this crazy time. I swear to something that I want to punch that dude in the fucking face every time I hear him talk shit about men that are way more alpha than him. Because that dude's not ever known a time in his life where he sees the world through the eyes of men that have actually been in the game. You know what I mean? Like, there's no time. I don't give a fuck what stories he tells. I've been around dudes in bands, and it's not always the dudes. All those dudes in the bands ain't getting laid. I mean, they might get some wake pussy from some dudes, but if you're a goofball, socially awkward dude, you're fucking the fat chick. You know what I mean? Like, I've hung around dudes that were in bands in Austin and seen it firsthand. You know what I mean? The lead singer and the pretty boy that can play the guitar and maybe the drummer. And they were talented as fuck, but they all were kind of studs. You know what I mean? Like, they were fuckable dudes. Rolo, I've seen his pictures that he posts of his old self. You've always been a cunt. You've always been a piece of shit. And so he's basically went to school and learned some nerd words to describe what he saw the real men do. You know what I mean? Like, there's no hope. There's just this socially all these terms that he uses over and over again. Yeah. All of those guys, every one of them that uses that as an excuse, they're all the same. They're all bitches, dude. They're all.
I think this is. I agree, and I think that's why it's something I've tried to wrap my head around these past couple of years, fighting with these guys and exposing these guys and doing real harm to them by exposing the truth with facts and evidence and stuff and documentaries. The reality is, the reason they still have any fans at all is they attract losers and fakes and little frauds themselves. Mm-hmm. Now, it might be some guy working at Best Buy, but basically he's fake as fuck, like a fake nice guy, right? Dressed to get in girls' pants or whatever. That being, this fake nice kind of male feminist bullshit or whatever it is in the case of their fans. It'd be a little bit different there, but basically all their fans are fake too, and they don't care. Fresh and Fit's the same thing, Fed and shit. I call them now.
But I don't think their fans are fake though, Anthony. I don't think that they're fake. I think that it's human nature to gravitate towards. Humans go toward the path of least resistance. Okay, the path of least resistance in the manosphere is fuck that bitch. It's all their fault. They're all that way. And if you step outside of these guidelines, you're a loser. And so you get these dudes that have been run over by these women, and it's the path of least resistance is that versus, well, of course she left you because you're a fucking loser. You work at Best Buy. You know what I mean? You don't go to the gym. She watched the dude slap the shit out of you because his iPod quit working right. You know what I mean? Like, she was there at your lunch break and this dude slapped the fuck out of you and you walked away. Yes, she left you. They don't want to hear that. They're like, no, she's a whore. You know what I mean? Yeah. She's a loser. So I don't. Now, I'm not giving them a pass because they have heard the truth too. They've heard those channels. They've heard my channel. And then they leave a comment going, "You're a beta. You don't know. Fresh and Fit helped me." Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, you're still a faggot, dude. So how'd they help you? You're still a loser.
Well, so I follow what you're saying, and I agree to an extent. What I was trying to say with them being fake is like a lot of them, they'll see my videos, your videos, or whatever exposed videos. A lot of them will grasp that they're basically frauds, and you'll see the comments too. Probably, I've seen them on my channel. Oh, who cares about them? You know, the advice works. It's like no, it does matter. They're fake. They're fake. They're fake as fuck. They're frauds. So what I think is that
those are the dumbest of the dumb. Like, and there's probably a lot of those. There's a lot of those, but I think initially the reason why their numbers continue to stay, I mean, especially Fresh and Fit, there's so many new ones coming in. You know what I mean? There's a lot of new ones. They lost a lot of dudes over that initial shit with Alba and Preach, but some sort of way they keep fucking rebounding. How is that? It's got to be new shit. It's got to be new beta males, dude. And there's more than, I think there's more than that, because, and maybe I'm just being hopeful. Maybe.
I think they prey on black men too. I think most of the audience is young black men, is what I've seen. Like just you know, the kids with none of them have dads and stuff. So it's like it's kind of like they're preying on the black manosphere, except these kids are not part of the black manosphere. They don't even know what that is, probably. You know, so I think they're preying on a whole YouTube demographic of young black men, Fresh and Fit specifically. I don't think Donovan to some degree, Rolo, I don't think the young black guys care about. But Fresh and Fit, basically they see that Fresh and Fit are fake and they don't care because to them it's real. It's fake, but it's real. It's like, well, they're successful at being fake and I want to be fake too like them, because then girls will like me if I get this fake airplane I take a picture in front of, and I get this fake bling and I buy girls pina coladas and shit. You know, all this dumb shit. Anyway, we got Tony.
Anthony, that's the same thing. To hit further on that though, broaden that and broaden that and look at it in the black community, the young black male in general. Yeah, they do that with everything.
Yeah, looking up the rappers and shit, right?
Gangsters, these rappers that are gangsters. These little dudes think that it's cool to be a fucking thug, calling chicks bruh and shit all the time. You know, this ignorant, stupid fucking shit. They idolize these ignorant ball players that are, most of them are functional fucking retards. They're just genetic mutants. They idolize all of these people. And the problem with it is they don't understand, and it sucks, man. And I try to say it and I'm not black enough. They don't understand the people that are guiding their culture are only giving them poison. Because if you can have a black R&B singer sing a most beautiful love song in the world and nobody's gonna fucking hear it. But let Sam Smith or one of the other little homosexual dudes do it and it's a #1 hit nonstop. But if the same black R&B artist comes out and goes, "Fucking give me the sack, nigga, kill a nigga, got me a minute, fuck these hoes, nigga," then he's on top of the charts and the girls are giving their babies tattoos to match his. And it's like, the whole fucking culture's toxic. And so what Fresh and Fit have done is they've graduated those dummies that maybe think that they're stepping up because they're not looking at the rappers as idealists now. Like, that's the ideal for me. Now they're looking at those guys from Miami and going, that's it. It's like, no, that's the same exact fucking thing. It's the same thing. These are just different nerds without guns. You know what I mean? And they threatened to shoot us over the shit we went through with them. You know what I mean? There was dudes all in the comments, "Man, I'll shoot you with this," whatever gun they were bragging about. Like, okay.
Yeah. Good luck.
It's deeper than that.
Let me pull on Tony Bruno here. We got rock star, manosphere grassroots in the house. Tony Bruno, welcome to the Redman Group.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man. I didn't want to miss this.
Tony.
Hey, Paul, how you doing, man? Good to see you. Good to see you.
Long time no see, man.
Yeah, really.
A couple days.
Yeah.
For those of you guys who don't know, Tony Bruno is a good friend of mine, also based in Florida. He's very helpful at our events. He co-hosts the 21 Report, and he's actually like a speaker liaison. So he actually helps manage a lot of the event inner workings behind the scenes, really escorting speakers, even from the airport, at the hotel, to different conferences, all kinds of cool stuff. Now, one of the reasons I wanted to bring Tony Bruno on today, though, is he is familiar with some of the breaking news that just dropped. So, Tony, I was showing the guys earlier, Paul here, and then earlier on the show when I opened it, but there was breaking bombshell truth bomb news on the Manosphere last night. It turns out our old buddy, Edwin Hopkins, aka Donovan Sharpmama, is actually married secretly to a single mom, a woman who's closing on a 50 years old, menopausal. This is her, I don't know how many years ago. This looks about 7, 8 years ago, something like that. Looks like it's in Orlando, Florida at Disney World. And this is her daughter. Her name is not Olivia, by the way. That's a lie. Olivia is not even any part of her name. Her real name, she has a middle name similar to that, but it's not real. That is her daughter. She doesn't even have a niece. So for years, Cynthia here, Ashlock, Devon, and Donovan Sharp have been saying that she has a niece and the mom's a drug addict. None of that's true. She does not have a niece, biological or in any way, shape, or form. She does have a nephew who's about 20 years old. So there's that, but there's no niece, and that's her daughter. That's her ex-husband. And it turns out the ex-husband actually filed for divorce against Cynthia, which, as we know in the manosphere, is opposite how it usually goes, right? Women file for divorce 78% of the time. This woman was so nasty and so fucking toxic, apparently, that this guy divorced her. So, Tony, I wanted to get your hot take on what do you think about one of the manosphere's toughest critics on post-wall single moms, Donovan Sharp, wifing up a single mom in secret and then lying about it for 5 years. You know Donovan, you've met him like me.
Well, I considered him a friend. I mean, let's get real. Back in even 2018, first 21 that I attended, I used to be a fan of Donovan's content because I think back then it was helpful. And just the narrative in his content has changed so much over the years. I used to play his stuff on my jobs, and I remember playing it for about a week, and electricians and all the different trades were listening to it. This was about 2 years ago, and I mentioned this to you, that all he talked about was her. All of a sudden, she just came into the picture. Mm-hmm. And, I just kind of ignored it. When I don't like somebody, I don't want to say I don't like them, but when I find their content isn't really helping and I notice kind of a shift, what I do is I just ignore it. That's just me.
Is this kind of what you see here on this channel? Like, that's pointing this out to Paul. She's all over the channel. She took over like a virus.
Yeah. And I remember even in 2018, again, I don't believe in dick policing. I'm not the dick police. The dick police means that I don't care who somebody dates or who their girlfriend is. If they like her, that's great. But the issue that I have is when somebody is not congruent with their message, just ragging on single moms, ragging on everything and anything that has to do with a woman, and your message and your life is not congruent with what you're preaching, you are fake and you are phony. Now, it's not my job in the manosphere to we'll say call out anybody. That's not what I do. There's certain people, I think everybody has their place in this umbrella.
I'll do that. Don't worry.
I'll consider you one of the assassins of the manosphere. I'll consider Paul part of the assassin squad. I'll consider MD, Smash TV, part of the assassins of the manosphere. And again, everybody has their place. But what I like to do is I like to see somebody that's just congruent with their lifestyle. If you're preaching something and you're helping guys, now I do think that even through all this mess, Donovan has helped guys maybe bring guys out of a slump, bring guys out of a bad situation. But I think that there's certain content creators that have a net negative, and I believe he's one of them. I look for net positive. I might not like you, but net positive is important, okay? There's a lot of content creators like Steve Williams. A lot of guys don't like him, but I do believe Steve has a net positive in his message. A lot of guys don't like Alpha Male Strategies. I love him, man. He's a friend of mine. Good dude. Great net positive. Great delivery on content when it comes to women, relationships. So congruency is most important to me. Again, dick policing is a lot of things that guys do in the manosphere. If anybody doesn't know what that is, it's when you're saying something about somebody's girl. And again, I don't care who you date, but if you're promoting something, be congruent. If you're a dating coach, I expect your woman to be that 9 or that 10. I mean, I just do. I mean, you look at guys.
Is this a 9, Tony? A hard 9?
tried to
Hard 9.
They tried to pawn that off as her sister, I believe, at one point.
Oh, that's her. That ain't her sister.
Yeah. So, but it is what it is, man. So, I don't care who somebody dates. I really don't. I don't
until they lie about it. Then it's a problem, right?
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of talk about what's called looks matching, and I'll have to say that's his looks match. I mean, it is. I mean,
yeah, he's a pretty rough fat guy. He's got a big beer belly going on. He looks like Mr. Potato Head. I realized in his pictures recently, he has like these skinny arms and his big belly, and he had a blue shirt on or blue hat. I'm like, man, this dude look like Mr. Potato Head.
And I understand. I mean, a lot of people don't know, and if I know you've made this public, that when Donovan was originally going to do his event, you were going to be the one that was going to film it.
Oh yeah, I have the text messages.
And all of a sudden, there came an attack. I talked to a few people about this, well-known guys that called me and said, "Okay, why did Donovan attack?" And we know why he attacked, because at the top of that pyramid is who? Rollo. And whether it's Ryan Stone and all these guys, all of their material is underneath the Rollo sphere. Okay, and what happens is if you go against Rollo, what happens is now your content will not be congruent with the rational male, or so. And we know a male is there's a difference between a male and a man. We know that. Okay, a male is just how you are, but a man is different. So, but if you do anything different or go anywhere off that Rollo sphere, okay, that's when you're shunned by the community, and that's where all your income comes from. So what happened was, I think in that situation, I'm sure the kingpin told him, I've been attacked by Anthony, so you need to go ahead and back at him. And we know that's what happened. It was just plain and simple.
I think it was probably Rollo or it was Miss Piggy. It was his single mother wife who goaded him into attacking me for drama marketing. So I wouldn't be surprised if they both had a hand in it, or if she was even leading the charge too. I mean, Rollo is very plausible too, though, for sure.
I mean, even back in 2018, I remember the first 21 that I went to, and I was excited about seeing Donovan, meeting Cooper and Rollo and a lot of these guys. And I remember Cooper even telling me, okay, like we were sitting there chatting one afternoon, and even Richard Cooper said, "You got to be kidding me, right? This is his 9 that he talked about, and now she's here, and we get to see her." And again, I don't care who you date. I don't. But if you're going to tell me somebody's something, at least give me the proof. At least produce what you're preaching. That's all.
I'm trying to pull up a picture of Rich Cooper right now. Where the fuck is that? I got it somewhere around here. Oh, here it is.
That's a really good point, Tony, because there's so many people in this space that want to, I guess dick watch is the perfect term. Yeah. And it's because out of one side of their mouth, they say, all of these Instagram models, they got dudes in their DMs, they're whores, woo, 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 all this shit. They sell this narrative that everybody's fucked up. And then they go back on the other side and then they do something drastically different. But the reality is, truthfully, really beautiful women, like women that are on the scale where everyone wants to fuck them, most of the time, from my experience, those women are so mentally fucked up. Either it's because of their entitlement, or just because they've been just dogged by Chads and Brads and Tyrones their whole life. They're mentally fucked up. And we look through or use the women who are, she can fix up well, but she doesn't meet that hot girl standard. Well, if you marry one of those Instagram chicks, I think you're just as fucking an idiot as you marry a single mom with 3 kids. Like, what do you think's going to come out of that? I'm not saying never, never, ever would that happen, but you got to look at what kind of animals those are. And a lot of time, what you're going to find, the woman that, the person that you're going to want to spend your life with, the way that they look is going to change. It doesn't matter what you want. If they get old and then start cutting their face up and putting shit in their face, they're going to age, man. And so are you. And so you can fall on that pathetic scale where you look like you're fucking your granddaughter. or you can find someone that, like we were talking about the other night, where you actually care about what that person thinks and how they feel about you, because that's rare. That's really rare. Now, if you got a codependent relationship, then you're fucked. But if you're a man and you're looking for looks, you're scaling yourself down just like a woman who's mediocre at best, looking for that rich dude. It's more than just how she looks. Now, she can't fucking look like that. I'm just saying, for that, to me, would never be acceptable. But like Tony said, it's not our business what she looks like, except for the fact that he sold us a Lamborghini, and it's an old 1969 slug bug that backfires. Like, that's some bullshit, bro. You told me your car was bad and fast, and I was like, this is a piece of shit. That's the fucked up part.
I mean,
when you know, make a living off of that, that's really fucked up.
There's some stuff that, you know, I've talked with Anthony about, and I think I've mentioned this on my channel before, but, you know, we've all talked about and we've heard that, and, you know, this might be a bomb right now to a lot of people, but, you know, we've said, oh, Donovan denied getting married. Well, I will go to a court of law and a lie detector and tell everyone right now watching that my brother, George Bruno, told me that Donovan called him and asked him if he would marry him and her. Period. That is
a woman, brother.
That is a fact. So I'm tired of people saying, oh, or Donovan saying, again, I don't watch his content. It's kind of, for me, I watch, somebody throws me a clip or something and I watch it. I don't really watch hardly any content. I watch 21 Studios. I watch The War Room, some of my friends, but you know, I don't have time to watch it. I'll watch a clip of something. But what I just told you is a fact. And I would, like I said, I would go to a court of law. You can put me on a lie detector. I don't care. That is a fact. So what does that tell me? That tells me that he married her, period.
Yep. By the way, George Bruno, your brother, told me the exact same thing to my face in Poland right when they were getting married. That's why George didn't do it. I had to fly him to Poland to speak at 21 Convention. They even had a honeymoon, by the way. Not only did they have this wedding, they had a honeymoon in Hawaii in late July, early August 2019. That's why if you look closely, all of my memes are actually pretty deep. If you look closely at this meme, the actual date is July 2019, because that's when they actually had the secret private wedding thing going on. So a lot of my memes have little Easter eggs like that in them. And it pisses them off because the average person's not going to catch that, but they catch it. Fucking pisses them off.
Now, whether or not they did get married, the fact is that was told to me. And again, I don't care. I am not Donovan's dick police. I'm just not. I'm not anybody's dick police. I don't care who you date, but I just believe in congruency. You know, somebody had said to me here, well, everybody on YouTube is an actor. Well, I can tell you I'm not an actor. Okay. Yeah. I know Paul's not an actor. I know you're not an actor, Anthony. So no. You know, when somebody said that to me, and I'm not going to mention the name of the person, but people are actors, so it really doesn't matter what they say. No, if you're an actor, say you're an actor.
Yeah.
Yes. If you're just a fucking character, see, that's what I got to respect about Coach GA. Coach Greg Adams, you know, I don't agree with everything he says, but he's very clear. I'm here to entertain you and educate you. So there's a lot of his own personal, you know, anecdotal shit in there with what he feels to be the truth. I like that. And I think what they've done to him is actually fucked up. You know what I mean? I don't like some of the shitty Tales dudes, but he's one of the good guys to me. He tells you, I'm putting on a show. You know what I mean? And he does with all the sound effects and shit. That's like an old silent movie type shit where they just went and all that, you know. I get it. That's a show. That's a character that he's basically a news anchor for the manosphere, and that's cool. But when you go on, like we found out that he was still secretly married to the woman he dogs out, that would instantly nullify every fucking thing he says, because he's built his platform encouraging men. This is the better way. This is the thing I don't understand about Donovan. Okay, you went through all the shit that brought you to the space, the hypergamy, all of that stuff. You did that. You built a good following. Then you found a chunky girl that made you feel special because she licked the back of your ball sack or whatever it is that she did to turn him out.
She blue balls you.
Be honest. Be honest about it. Say, hey, you know what, guys? It's not all about looks. Sometimes a woman can treat you so well that you see beauty where no one else can. And if you do X, Y, Z, that was my favorite one, dude.
Where no one else can. Oh God.
If he would have just done that, then he could be a dating how to get the girl coach and then start selling that riff. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like, he's not a very smart businessman at all.
I actually want to make a comment.
Married, run with it, motherfucker.
I want to make a comment. Run with it. Exactly. So I think, if Donovan, you're probably watching this. I know him and his wife stalk everything I do. I'll drop a meme about how fat his wife is. Within 3 hours, they're posting how she's not fat on his Instagram. I mean, they're super reactionary. They track everything
They
that
go
I do.
photo or whatever the fuck that fat girl thing is and make her look good.
Yeah. Now, but I'll say this, because it reminds me of what you were just talking about here. Donovan, Edwin, I know you're watching. You need to retire from being this fake alpha male dating coach, red pill, whatever the fuck, right? That's all done, dude. You're absolute fraud. You've been a fraud the whole fucking time. You've embarrassed yourself. You've embarrassed the whole manosphere community. You've embarrassed fucking everybody. Everything you do is a fucking tornado of shit. It's a disaster, a hurricane of just bullshit at this point. But what Donovan should do, what you should do, Edwin, is drop out of all this, retire, close up shop, admit defeat, admit you're a fucking complete liar, and go into stand-up comedy. I have never seen anyone roast themselves as good as Donovan Sharp does. He is legit. He talks about his wife fucking 500 dicks and all this fucking bullshit. Like, he's great. He's kind of funny in a genuine way, in a bombastic way, and he needs to focus on that. He probably has a future in that if he really put his nose to the grindstone with it. He has no future in the manosphere.
I'm holding myself accountable. Okay, that's a big thing that people don't do in the manosphere. I'm holding myself accountable for believing in him years ago. Okay, and a lot of guys who won't. What happens is they just don't want to believe that this is true. The best way you can hold yourself accountable is by holding the other man accountable first in your mind, and think about what they taught you and think about their congruency in their life. Okay. That will give you clarity in what you believe in right there. Why am I following this guy? He's been lying to me the whole time about his life. He's not an actor. This is real life.
Yeah.
So if you hold somebody else accountable, one of your content creators first, ask them the hard questions. What I say is ask them the hard questions and see if you get blocked in the comments. Yep. Try that one time. Mm-hmm. And guarantee ask any of these questions, you'll get blocked or that's it,
Anger is the weather vane of truth. And when they freak out like that instantly, it's because you hit the nail on the head. I can only imagine, since I put these videos, not videos, but these photos last night, that Cynthia, Devon Sharp, and Donovan Sharp are flipping the fuck out. I mean, I've already heard reports that Cynthia Devon is super abusive, bipolar, diagnosed bipolar disorder, probably BPD. She looks like a typical BPD, Amber Heard, Jada Smith, kind of actor, kind of character. But just totally toxic, abusive, nasty woman. Very nasty. Nasty on the outside, nasty on the inside. It's kind of how that goes most of the time. But I imagine right now that they're screaming at each other, freaking out, and trying to plan a counterattack, but there's nothing to do. He wifed up a single mom, lied about her age by 7 years, and shaved 50 pounds off her weight for the past 5 years. This woman is the epitome of what Donovan has railed against for years. He's a complete fraud. It's even worse than I thought. Tony, credit due where credit's due. You were the one guy, I think you and Socrates, who theorized that she was not an aunt, and that wasn't her niece. That was her daughter. And we all kind of talked about that, but we had no, evidence of it until now. And it's all that's the whole fucking truth, the whole fucking time. She doesn't even have a niece. That's how fucking bad it is. I should have known better. Everything this guy says is a lie, right? Pathological liar, compulsive liar. But credit to you, man, for kind of calling that out and predicting the future.
That was a while ago. Ago.
Oh, yeah. Tony, I'm gonna call you Tony Stradamus, like Nostradamus.
Another thing I want to bring up too is the guys of it's, I've heard this too, that the best speakers were stolen from 21. No, I disagree. The worst speakers were stolen from 21 that really nobody gave a shit about. I mean, that's just the way it is.
Yeah.
It's
a woman.
Yeah. I mean, that's just a fact, it didn't really put a hitch in the get along for 21 at all. He really picked the bottom of the fucking barrel is what it is. I mean,
Yeah.
you got no offense to, I think it's Sterling Cooper, but you got a guy who sells pictures of his asshole on OnlyFans to dudes. I mean, give me a fucking break, will you?
Yeah.
I mean, that's
We have it on video. We have the screenshots. His
and again,
OnlyFans
that's
page
what he
is still
does, that's
online.
fine. I'm not saying the guy is homosexual or anything. I'm not saying that, but to me, that's kind of fucking creepy. It's just
that's really gay.
Thing is going on right now. I think the Black Manosphere recently had some controversy with somebody that's not gay doing some gay shit. This is the way I look at it, dude. You can't suck a little bit of dick. You can't do a little bit of gay shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not the way I was raised. If you let a dude touch your dick or you do some gay shit and you go, man, I was just because of the money, you're a faggot. You're homo.
Well,
like, you gay, bro. You can encourage all your friends to say you're not, and you might not be a homosexual, but you definitely gay and you're definitely a faggot. That's just the truth, man. Because I had friends that did that male stripper shit when I was a kid. I was caught up in the Reagan era of shit that was going on. I had dudes that were making a lot of money stripping for fat chicks, and they did gay shit. Well, they were acquaintances. They weren't like my buddies, because the moment I found out that they were going to these clubs and it was gay night and they didn't leave, I'm like, man, there ain't enough money in the motherfucking world to make me do anything in front of a woman, in front of a fucking dude that might be thinking about doing what a woman might want to do to me. You know what I mean? I'm trying to keep this as proper as possible, but all this justification and shit, nah, man. If you do gay shit, you might be fucking gay. And I'm not saying he's gay, but he did some gay shit.
The old saying is, you can build 100 bridges and nobody calls you a bridge builder, but you can suck one dick and now you're a cocksucker.
Now, I want to bring up another important point here. Something I posted on my Twitter about a week ago, something like that. So one of the main reasons that we've been talking about these frauds who lie to their audiences, deceive them, on really serious shit. It's probably even criminal in some cases, right? False advertising, wire fraud, all kinds of shit these people have done. But anyway, one of the things that Donovan has been suffering, I think he's going to go bankrupt soon. That's why he keeps talking about bankruptcy and bleeding money and all this stuff on his channel. I mean, his wife's going to steal it all. Obviously, that's what piggies do, Miss Piggy. But since I exposed him about 14 months ago, so this is a 12-month graph, 1 year, and you see a 44.7% drop in patrons. And even the money per patron on top of that's gone down by 35%. This is a massive loss of money. This was like Donovan's main source of income a little bit over a year ago. And it's hard to do on the thing because it only has like these options at the top. But if you extend it to 14 months out, when my documentary first dropped about the truth about Donovan Sharp, it's on my channel, all my channels, and it came out in March 2021, he's had like a 58% drop in his patron money. I mean, these were his best paying customers. He had over 1,100 people following him. It's down to 531 and dropping. Every week it goes down, bit by bit. So if you guys wonder why these people attack me and lie about me and try to deny all this stuff, his wife being old and she's not old and she is old, she's fat, she's not fat, all this rampant bullshit, it's because it's how they con you. It's the reason Fresh and Fit, fed and shit, it's the reason they lie to you. They lie to you to get more money out of you. That's the bottom line. Rollo is a little more sadistic. He hates men, he hates masculinity, and he wants to steal money from you. He's a blood-sucking parasite vampire. But these other guys are not usually like that. Rollo is kind of special like that. The Rich Poopers and the Donovan Sharp, the Conovan, and the Fed and shit, all these guys, they lie to you to get more money out of you or to get money out of you in the first place. That's the reason they do it. They're stealing money from you by lying to you and defrauding you. And when they get exposed, this is what happens. These people say, oh, Fred and shit don't talk about you. Do you know why they don't talk about me? Because the more they talk about me, the more this will happen to them. They'll lose people just like Donovan. That's the reason. They're scared shitless of me. Myron apparently admitted that to Donovan Sharp a week ago in Miami, Florida. He dropped out at the last second of speaking at Donovan's shithole disaster event of 20 fucking people in a swamp-ass Miami motel. It looked like it was held in the fucking broom closet. He dropped out of that event and cited that he was afraid of me and what I would do to him and his business. How much of a bitch do you have to be a current or former or whatever federal agent for the United States government, and you're afraid of some redneck in Orlando? You're terrified that you're dropping out of speaking events? Are you fucking kidding me?
I think that was just an excuse. I just think he didn't want to be part of a broom closet convention.
But even to use that as an excuse is pathetic. Hey, my excuse is I'm a bitch. That's why I'm not going to go. Holy fucking shit. These people are bitches, man. 100%. 100%.
Well, if he was honest with it, he would have just told Donovan, you know what, man? Well, he'd have to actually have a change of mind and heart, because it would be cool if he took this platform. Like, that's another good one. That one is a Miss Piggy one.
I love Dave Chappelle, man. I grew up watching a lot of Dave Chappelle.
But yeah, there's all of these guys that are. It's funny because all of these dudes that are in the white manosphere, if you're gonna put them in a category, they're all Rolo's boys. All of the ones that are the biggest toxic cunts are all Rolo's boys.
Yeah.
MLD, all of those dudes, the pedos, all of those weirdos.
MLD. Do you mean this guy who stalks children, Jonathan Hogwood, who's a documented child stalker?
How is somebody not beating the brakes off of that dude?
I don't know.
I've
he is
seen
again.
Videos of him talking shit about, man, motherfucker, I'll be in Miami in whatever. Like whoever he was talking to should have changed the way he looks, man.
Yeah.
These dudes get way too comfortable online. I've heard Rolo talk, passive aggressively about the crew on 21, basically everybody associated with you.
Yeah.
And it's this little girl talk.
Yeah.
And these dudes would never fix their face to say any shit like that to your face.
I mean,
they're scared of me.
Let's get real. I mean, come on, guys. I don't like to judge a man by his looks, but can't you just look at Rolo? Can't you just look at these guys and see how creepy it is? I mean,
yeah.
Just step up and take
I have friends in law enforcement. I've shown some of these child stalking images of Jonathan Hogwood, who's a former resident of Orlando. His mom lives about 5-10 minutes from me. He visits here sometimes, whatever. The guys I've talked to currently in law enforcement believe that these are precursors to child molestation. This is actually someone who's in the process of becoming a pedophile. And this is MLD, Jonathan Hogwood, Jonathan Pigwood, I call him, who hangs out all the time with Donovan Sharp, Rollo Tomasi, all these fucking losers. Soy Francis, or Boy Francis, we'll call him. I mean, these people are sick in the fucking head. This is stalking children.
These guys, the guys like Troy Francis, again, I don't watch his content. People send me clips, but him and this guy Tuss, they literally admitted that they slept with lady boys and didn't know it till the day after. How do you not know this? Jesus. Literally told people that. And people
on video
still follow them. How is that possible?
It's how broken our culture is. These wounded lost boys they're like zombies, man. They're like legit sheep. My wing of the manosphere is much more men who are like more independent minded, more alpha. They want to be more alpha. They don't want to be fucking sheep. They don't want to be like, lied to and defrauded on a daily basis. But there's a lot of guys who are just broken as fuck. The Jordan Peterson losers are the same way. They're very similar. The guys that follow this guy.
A weak injured man that reaches out for help. Okay. That right there is a big deal, because even when I talked to Coach Greg Adams here last year and did an interview with him, the hardest thing for a man to do is to reach out for help. It really is. But what I've noticed is a lot of these guys, if not, all of them, but most of them, they just prey on that weakness. They're trying to sell you a golden ticket rather than say, improve yourself. And like I talked about, a heart punch. A heart punch is, some guys can't handle a heart punch. A heart punch is when you can smack somebody. You can tell me something. If I had some issues in my life, you can tell me, wake the fuck up, shake me. Some guys can't handle that. The reason they can't handle that, because they had a weak father or nobody to shake them out of it. So I think a lot of times the weak men are the easiest prey, but you're not going to get a golden ticket. It's not going to happen. You have to work. You have to improve yourself, whether it's your body, your mindset. Everything has to be improved. No one is going to save you. It doesn't matter how many dollars you throw at somebody. They're not going to save you. That's just the way it is. So a weak, injured man is the easiest prey. And they've figured out the formula to suck these guys in. They've perfected that formula. What people need to do is take a step back and look and ask the hard questions. If you ask somebody a hard question, I will say it again, in their comments, in their chat, and they block you, you got your answer. Move on.
Yep. A woman, brother. A woman. Yeah, they are. It's easy to pray and it's sad, but there's some responsibility too, man. I mean, you know, they are wounded men and it is sick when they get preyed on, but it's ultimately, like you said, their responsibility to save themselves, to change their own life and to save their own life. No one can save you unless they're like literally an ER doctor, a paramedic, a firefighter, a cop, and you're about to be fucking killed. Like if someone, Sean Smith, you know, God bless him, said this on the Breadman group at 21 Summit last year, that all this crap in the manosphere about saving lives is super toxic and super fake and super codependent. I mean, I'm paraphrasing what he said, but basically, if someone is not an EMT, emergency room doctor or whatever, they're not saving your life. It's all a fucking scam. What they're doing is fostering and nurturing your own shitty ideas and beliefs and codependency. They want you hooked on them. That's what all these frauds want. They want you stuck in a loop of this trauma loop of being, you know, beta and weak and sucking shit with women, and they want you to stay that way so that you keep hooked on the next blog post or the next video or the next Patreon or whatever to keep stealing money out of you until you get burned out and you leave the manosphere 6 months later, a year later, 2 years later, and you're like, fuck the manosphere. The manosphere didn't do that. The frauds did that. The grassroots is a healthy wing of the manosphere. Men like myself and like you, Tony, and like you, Paul, who actually care about this shit. And the money stuff either doesn't exist or you don't really give a fuck. I'm kind of a sociopath for the truth. So even though this is my career and my job, I've always been in favor of the truth and willing to fight for it. And that's why no one does any kind of, you know, there's nothing to expose about me. I'm like you, Paul. I fucking say what I mean. I do. I live my life congruently. I am who the fuck I am. On the internet, it's so bombastic. A lot of people they can't even wrap their head around it. But when they meet me, it tends to like work itself out. They figure out pretty quickly what's going on. But yeah, it's just,
I'll give an example. I won't say his name, but you know, we were all here for a beach day last year, I think it was. And one of the guys we really know said, you know, he was kind of nervous about like hanging out with you in this situation. He has seen you at 21. You're very intense. You're very focused. You know, you're a different person. But when you come into the real world, he had told me, he's like, wow, Anthony's just like chill and like like a normal dude. I said, yeah, man. I said, but when he's at 21, he's laser focused. He's into what he's doing. So when you meet somebody in the real world, now a lot of these guys I've met in the real world. And when I've had that spidey sense in the back of my mind, tell me something, sometimes you got to follow that. If it doesn't feel right, it usually isn't.
Yeah. A woman, brother, a woman. I wanted to move topics. I love it, man. It's so stupid. A woman.
So stupid. It just doesn't even sound right.
Yep. So I wanted to move off a little bit to more current events topics that I think are related to the manosphere. So one of the big ones, obviously, is the recent shooting in Texas, not too far from you, Paul. I heard you on Tony's show say that you actually used to you know, have football games against the high school town, a rival. I know the feeling, man. We had towns like that too. I was growing up. We had these rivals that we fucking hated, and you know they were an hour away, and you go fuck with them, and you'd win or they'd fucking kick your ass, like whatever.
Go there, steal their mascot. They get your field on fire. Good old country boy shit.
Jesus. Yeah. So talk to me about, you know, this was 21 people I think are dead, 19 little kids, 2 teachers, whatever. But it was an 18-year-old fucked up young kid.
Yeah.
That, you know, I don't think he had anything to do with the manosphere that I've heard of, which good. But he seems like but he's he was obviously a troubled young man, assuming, you know, absent government MK Ultra shit. Right. But this is a fucked up kid. What was your initial reaction to what happened? And how do you think it relates to masculinity today?
Oh, that's loaded. Initially, because they always filter shit through the media bullshit filter. I heard about it, waited, and you know, I soaked it up at first, and my initial reaction is the same as it is now. That dude is a coward. He was a coward. What he did was cowardice. I mean, all of that, all of those things go without saying. But there's multiple layers on that, man, because now that more and more facts are coming out, it turns out that this dude was allowed to go pretty much weapons free until the guy jumped out of the barber chair and, you know, took action. When I heard that part of it, man, it really, that solidified my view that this whole event, those children, a lot of those children losing their lives, was a direct result. AOC finally said something correct, but the dumb bitch didn't say it the correct way. This was an example of toxic masculinity. This was an example of the patriarchy, but it's an example of toxic masculinity the way that feminism has created it. And it's a result of the patriarchy submitting ownership, headship to the matriarchy. Because this kid was part of a single parent household, and from reports, he grew up fighting with his mother. So the single parent, again, was a mother. It was ill-equipped to raise a boy. He was wearing eyeliner. Apparently, he was part of the fruitcake community. He was getting bullied. All of these things, all of this shit, you can point outwardly all you want, but the biggest, yeah, same difference. You can't suck a little bit of dick. Same deal. This dude, you know, he was a coward by himself. But the law enforcement dudes, I was watching Brandon Tatum bootlick for these cops because he was a cop and he wanted to make everybody stupid because they thought the cops did. Listen, man, I don't give a fuck about your ROE. I don't give a shit about any of that. Once shots were fired, those men, fuck the cops. The men in those uniforms should have organized and went in there and eliminated that threat. They didn't go in there because they were scared because they might get shot because somebody told them to stand down. At a certain point in time, you have to break chain of command. You have to fucking disobey orders. When the orders are wrong, a warrior disobeys fucking orders. Those dudes should have went in there and did what that guy did. Everyone involved down there were fucking cowards. Everyone, the shooter, the cops, the only people who had balls were the moms that were trying to run in there and get their fucking kids. And the dude who got out of the barber chair, if that's not a complete lie, and I'm thinking it's probably not because the dude got his melon took. That dude was a hero. Those women that were trying to run in to get their kids were fucking heroes. Those cops were cowards. But in the same breath, you have to ask yourself, what did they think was going to happen? The politicians, everyone politicizing everything, divisive rhetoric at every turn. You got people telling everybody to hate everybody. What did they think was going to happen? This boy grew up his whole life being told boys weren't shit, girls rule. You know what I mean? All of this bullshit. Toxic masculinity does exist, but it's not the way these pink-haired bitches say it is. It's the masculinity that we see in boys today, if we dare call it that. It's vaginal masculinity. That dude that went in there with those guns was a bitch. Those cops that stood outside the door and waited were bitches. Fuck your instructions. Fuck all that. They acted like it was a hostage situation. Had that dude not shot one bullet, then that would have made sense. But the moment he discharged that weapon after he barricaded himself, he was killing kids, and those motherfuckers should have engaged. And anyone who says otherwise, they can lick my balls because you're a fucking coward. Dude, I don't even have a child. If that shit happened up at my school, I would grab my shit. I would drive up there. I would find out who was in command, and I would ask him, can I fucking help? I'll be the head of the spear. If somebody's in there killing kids, let's get them. Fuck all this. Oh, fuck that. They've already started killing. It's time to go. And the fact that they didn't, they were all pussies. Dude.
What's weird I agree 100%. A woman, not to make light of the situation. In my understanding, at least in Florida, most counties, if not all the counties, they're explicit instructions, and that's why the shooting a couple years ago down in Southeast Florida, their instructions once there's an active shooter is to engage immediately. There's supposed to be zero hesitation. The minute if he hasn't fired a gun, that's different. Now it's a situation, right? A hot situation. No, they should engage immediately, kill him, neutralize him as fast as they can, kill him.
That's the rule.
Yeah,
that's the rule. When you don't have a plan, run toward the gunfire and kill everything holding a fucking weapon. That's what you do.
Here's a couple things that are interesting though, and maybe Tony can chime in too. Number one, this 18-year-old kid living with his grandma or something, he had access to about $6,000 or $7,000 worth of weaponry. Allegedly, he also had an F-250 pickup truck he had access to that was his or something. So where did all this money come from? I think he was unemployed. I don't know. I think he was unemployed. He's an 18-year-old kid. I mean, how much fucking money can he have? Living with his grandma.
Guns that he had were I think they were both Daniel Defense.
Brand
Those
new.
Are fucking expensive, bro. Those aren't cheap ARs.
Yeah. So where did all that money come from? Number two, though, here's another thing I've been thinking about, and this is something we can talk about. All these, these woke people and the feminists and the libtards and whatever, right? They're always like, oh, if there was ever a civil war in America, all you rednecks would just die. Okay, here's what just happened. Some 18-year-old kid, apparently, for whatever, now it's stupid how it happened, but it took over 40 minutes for an entire fucking police force to take down an 18-year-old kid with one fucking gun. Are you kidding me? Now there's cowardice and this and that, but that's the reality of what just happened. You had an entire fucking police force fully aware that there's some fucking crazy 18-year-old fucking teenager murdering fucking children, and it took them almost an hour to stop him. Almost a fucking hour. And these people think that the government has unlimited power and it would just fucking kill everyone in some conflict. These people are fucking delusional. And so it just kind of illustrates to me how stupid these people are.
Cops in fucking dresses, dude. You know what I mean? Our government, this idea that us dumb rednecks will get annihilated, we couldn't fucking defeat dudes with dresses and sandals in the desert. Fuck that shit, man. All those people would be the ones that get on the bus and go to the "We Are Here to Help You" camps.
Yeah, damn. Tony, you have any thoughts on what happened with the shooting and kind of its relation to what I just talked about with any potential American conflict? And these people can't even take down an 18-year-old kid with one gun or two guns or something.
I think that my first thought would be that it's in Texas. And Texas, to me, is one of the most based states. So when the information started coming out, I was a little bit shocked because when I think of Texas, I think of just badasses. I mean, to me, it's just Texas is just badass. But again, as the information came out, I was a little bit shocked that people didn't act quick enough. Okay. And I think it all goes to politics. Okay. And chain of command. And I'll agree with Paul said. Sometimes you just got to say, fuck it. Now, would it have changed maybe if a lot of those cops, if their kids were in that school?
There were some. One of them had a kid die, apparently. They had kids in that school, man. One of the cops there on the force anyway, his kid died.
Well, I don't have kids, but if it was my mom, my dad, or my brothers inside an area, I'm going in. Just that simple. You're not going to stop me. You're just not.
It is sick. But yeah, also back to the toxic masculinity thing, though. The only toxic masculinity seems to come from the children single mothers raise. Mm-hmm. Now, where was the dad, whatever? In a lot of cases, the mom runs them off. I mean, that's the reality of it. Or the mom in the first place was fucking deadbeat losers, right? It's like you fuck this guy with 25 tattoos and 3 baby mamas, and then you're going to turn around and act surprised when he runs off and doesn't give a fuck about you and the kid. Oh, no fucking shit, right? So it's sick the way the family is falling apart in this country. It's sick the way that single mothers are praised as these heroes. And a lot of times they're the worst woman, just like Donovan Sharp's wife. Nasty, it looks like a drug addict in some of her photos, the ones I just pulled up yesterday. I mean, look at this photo. To pick on this woman again, look at this. She looks like a cokehead or a meth head or something. Look at this. I mean, this is like the average single mom in America, just a disaster. And they raise these shooters. She what?
She looks very gooey. Like her belly looks like if you touched it, it'd be like ugh.
Yeah.
That's mean, but it's just That's hard to look at.
There's so many words that have been stolen. Okay. When I say stolen, I mean, you look at something simple like the rainbow from the Bible, even. Okay. That the rainbow was stolen by a certain community. Even the word gay was stolen. Okay. There's so many words that are stolen. Toxic is another word that's been stolen. Okay. Toxic. I don't like that word. I think it's overused right now. Oh, he's toxic. She's toxic. I hate that word. I absolutely hate that word. Toxic masculinity is just masculinity. There's no such thing as toxic masculinity. So,
yeah, well, the reason why I use that term is because they use it to classify what traditional masculinity was. Now, what traditional self-sustainability that was masculinity based on the DSM-4. All masculinity used to be healthy, a man being able to be self-sufficient, not emotional. All that was good. And then when they decided to change the alphabet shit to stop being a mental disorder, then being a masculine male became one. That they put that moniker on it because now for a man to have those traits is negative. That's for the boss bitches. That's for the independent, strong women to run around and talk all the shit and start beating on their chest, acting like men. That's where the toxicity comes in. For me, the toxic part is when you poison masculinity. And that kid that ran in there, he's a male, but he's not a man. Being a male is a matter of birth. Being a man is a matter of choice and action. That dude was a bitch. He's still a male. He's not masculine. What he is he's a bastardization of what masculinity is. He's the poisonous version of what masculinity is. Like the women, strong boss bitches, that's toxic masculinity because they're not supposed to have that shit. Now, me, you, Anthony, we're just men. We're just masculine men. There's no toxicity unless we start poisoning people. That's what toxic is, poison. And so when you've got a dude's Donovan Sharp, to me, that is that because what they're doing, nothing that he's doing is masculine. None of the negative shit is masculine. That is opportunistic, feminine bullshit. All of that lying and manipulation to get what you want, you expect that from certain women. Men, if you do that, do it with honor. And that means truth. You know what I mean? He's not doing that. Women, I don't say they're all fucked up, but I expect them to have to manipulate some shit.
This is a good point. I closed my documentary about Donovan Sharp, 3-hour documentary. At the very end, if you listen, I talk about masculinity, specifically in the way Jack Donovan articulates it in virtues, but it includes strength, honor, courage, and competence, basically. And Donovan fucks us up on the honor part. He has no honor. You're right that what Donovan does, all the frauds, but Donovan is a really good example. There's no honor in it, and in that sense, it's dishonorable and unmanly. And that's one of the most aggravating elements of it, that it's effeminate. And I've called him an effeminate beta male a bunch of times over. He was also raised by a single mom, just like this Texas school shooter, right? This fucking crazy kid. And Donovan is not a school shooter, but he's all fucked up in a very similar way. He's a big and fat mama's boy who married his fucking mother. His own mother, who I think he's talked about openly, maybe Tony can confirm that, is also toxic. And, just basically raised this fat fuck loser who's a liar and a manipulator and dishonorable. There's even evidence that's come out in court documents. Donovan was convicted, apparently, of defrauding his own father. So he does have some relationship with them. The financial identity theft that Donovan got arrested for and convicted, that was against his own father, Edwin Alexander Hopkins Sr. I thought it was against maybe some random person he was trying to, steal checks from or something. No, it was his own dad. He opened up apartments, apparently. There's this whole channel that dug into his criminal history, finally. And it's just sick. It's fucking sick, and it's effeminate on top of that. It's not just sick in general. It's effeminate, beta male fucking conduct, and that's what most single mothers raise. You get these just broken, wounded, fucking fat mama's boys who marry their Miss Piggy single. He even married a single mom, just like his own mother. I mean, the shit, it's out of a fucking textbook.
Most of these guys are not men, okay? A man, we know what a man is, okay? Most of these guys are males, hence the national male. A male, that book would have would have been better titled as the rational man, because a male is just an immature man. Okay, there's quite a difference right there. So the male is just who we were born as. A man is different than a male. So very simply, a male is an immature man, in my opinion.
Fucking hate these frauds, man. Yeah, they're all effeminate. If you notice that about all of them, none of them are masculine. They're all wispy. They're all fat. They're all married to single moms. They're angry. They're really angry in a really effeminate kind of like little boy kind of way. Myron would be a really good example of that. He's like one of the most angry dudes I've seen. He's a volatile little girl, and he's butthurt about women, and you can feel that. Even if some of his own fans will see it, because the frog one, the fresh one, he's not as angry with women. He's just more incompetent and like socially retarded. Myron, there's like a venom he has towards women, and it's super unhealthy and it's super fucking legit poisonous. And these guys don't want to hear it, but that's the truth.
I wonder if that's because he's in the closet. You know what
I mean?
Sugar
in the tank.
Yeah, I think he has a lot of sugar in his tank, and he's just like, man, I really don't want to out myself because I'm making all this money. I got these dudes propping me up. And as a gay man, he'd probably be nothing. You know what I mean? Like those gay dudes, those motherfuckers are chiseled up and shit. If he entered into the gay market, he'd probably be worse off than he is in the
Well, the black pill community calls that sus soldiers.
Yeah, I saw a Hold the Truth hostage was talking about that. But that's the animus that he has towards women. That's what it kind of seems like. Why are you so angry, bro? Why are you yelling at these women like a little boy? You know what I mean? Like I knew a dude when I was in high school. He was that way, and he was super alpha kid. He tried to hang out with this. He was super, but he beat the shit out of his girlfriend. I mean, he hated her, and she did nothing but was nice to him. And it turned out a couple of years later, we found out he was gay as he could be. And I'm thinking that had to be why he was doing that to that girl. She was like a physical representation of him selling out. And every time she would make him mad, he would just slap the shit out of her. And we'd have to like, whoa, man, what the fuck's wrong with you? We thought it was just his home life. No, he was fighting that demon because he thought, we would make fun of him. We probably would have, not in a mean way. We were just like, yeah, that's kind of funny, dude. He's still a cool dude. He's just likes weird shit. But he used to be so fucking angry at girls, and we didn't know why. So watching Myron, I look at that, I'm like, this dude reminds me of Brian a lot. He's just real puffy. Like I thought you were one of these based, staying in my frame dudes. Like, what frame is that? Like an angry homo.
Yeah. So I want to move off to a final topic in a minute, but first, what is obviously, I agree that a lot of this is my view anyway, and I think you guys are on the same page, but a lot of this school shooting shit, whatever, the mass shooter, it's from a broken culture that's deeply fucked up, even Fall of Rome level fucked up. Fatherlessness, the fall of the family, feminism, the matriarchy, the collapse and the destruction of the patriarchy. There's a whole nest of these issues that are not going to get fixed overnight. But in terms of school shootings and these fucked up kids that shoot up schools and shit, right? What, in your view, is the solution to that? Is it arming teachers? Is it having more police officers or veterans or something at every school? What are your thoughts on that? Should kids bring guns to school again, like they did back in the day?
Oh, dude, when I was in high school, if somebody would have tried to run up in there, we'd have fucked that dude, because there was gun racks with guns in them when I was in high school. Every truck had a long gun, and I'm talking about a 300 Win Mag or better.
Here, man, I had a gun rack with 2 guns on it when I drove around.
Yeah, there was you had like a 300 Win Mag and a shotgun.
Yeah.
But here's what I think, man. It's very simple. We've got a bunch of retired veterans that I know a bunch of them personally. We've got a bunch of veterans, a bunch of special force operatives that are bored out of their fucking minds having to do mundane jobs. All you need, bro, is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 dudes maximum. You put a dude on each flank of your building, rotating, put a fucking sniper on top of the building, put a dude in control, and one walking through the halls. Those dudes by themselves, you give them proper comms, those motherfuckers will see that shit coming, and you could do it. And here's the kicker: a lot of them would do it because they're bored. You wouldn't even have to pay them. That simple.
Wow.
Problem fucking solved.
I'll add to that real quick. All they have to do is do the same security that Anthony does at 21, and we're good. Plain and simple. Plain and simple.
Yeah, 21 Summit's a real event where we have.
Yeah, you guys have guns there, plenty of them.
Oh yeah, at 21 Summit, I encourage all the speakers to carry a firearm. All the attendees are welcome to carry a firearm. I hire licensed security. I hire off-duty, but they're in uniform, police officers, sheriff's deputies, city police, the whole fucking thing. I hire both fucking departments, the sheriffs and the city police. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's funny because I see these other shithole manosphere events that they go virtual or they're held in a fucking broom closet, and it's just it's so pathetic. Like, dude, what I do is like first class, world class, ultra professional, 4 or 5 man security team, 15-man video team, 12 volunteers, event staff, speaker, 30 fucking speakers. Like, my shit is fucking dope. I'm really proud of it, and I've worked hard at it for 16 fucking years to master it, learn how to do that. But not brag too much, but yeah, if we had the same security at schools that I do at my conferences, there would be no shootings, like, which is ridiculous. My thinking though is that
you can still win.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I mean, like, you got that sounds like you've got overkill, which is multiple layers is the best way to do it. But I mean, realistically, they could really do that. I laid out a whole team. Really, dude, you could do that with 2 officers on a rotational basis, covering the perimeter of the building. Have a dude that was walking on the top with a walkie-talkie and a dude that was walking in the halls. If you got those guys where basically you build a fire team. Each guy's got a function. Somebody barricades themselves behind a door. You get a fucking fire team that's trained together. They will breach that door and dispatch of that motherfucker fast. You know what I mean? And those dudes love doing that shit. It's fun to them. Hell, it's fun for people who just know how to do it. You know what I mean? But the teachers, there should be teachers that are armed as well. You know what I mean? This is Texas. The thing, the catch-22 on it is it's down there by the border. And so it's a high Hispanic population. Not that they don't have guns, but they're not Texas with their shit. You know what I mean? Had it been further north where there's a bunch of Confederate flags and whatnot, like real rednecks, that motherfucker would have got shot through the window. You know what I mean? Somebody would have went and found high ground and put one through the window. That would be my mindset. I would have got my 300 and just tried to find a fucking view. That's what you do. That's what you do. I mean, the dude's already popped kids, but what if that teacher would have had a gun?
That's what my thinking is.
You know, teacher would have had a gun. She could have just fucking ended that whole shit. Kids would have been traumatized if they would have been alive.
So I think the most important thing that needs to be done is now not every teacher, I don't think we should mandate teachers carry, but every teacher and school administrator and staff in the country should be encouraged and enabled and allowed immediately. Their right really enforced, really their right protected to carry a firearm. They should, most of them, almost all of them should own and carry firearms. And if you had that, not only
the principal should
at minimum,
the principal should have a weapon.
But here's the issue is one of the reasons my security, you're right, at my conferences is stacked in multiple layers. We even usually have undercover cops too, 1 or 2 in the audience on purpose, who's plain clothes, right? On top of uniform, on top of security, on top of me carrying a gun, on top of Tony carrying a gun, on top of, 15, 20, 30 other people carrying firearms. What that creates above all is the deterrence. Like, this is public information. It's totally in line with the law. If you come in and try to shoot anyone at my conference or actually kill or do serious harm to anyone, any customer of mine, any speaker of mine, any volunteer of mine, you'll be shot. You'll die. The chances of you dying is extremely high at my conference if you try to go in and actually break the law and fucking hurt somebody. So the reason I think nothing will ever happen, hopefully, is because it creates a huge fucking deterrence. And if even half of teachers in America or whatever, right, or even 10 or 20% and principals were carrying firearms, then anytime a kid ran into a school, they wouldn't know who the fuck has a gun and who doesn't. How are you going to pick a classroom to be a coward and shoot a bunch of kids if there's a 25% chance there's a fucking gun in that room? You're not going to do it. Gun-free zone schools, since 1991 or whatever the fuck it was, George H.W. Bush signed it into law. They made all these schools gun-free zones. And what you created is a fucking kill zone. You have a bunch of defenseless, slow, clumsy children who have no guns around except maybe one school resource officer hanging out in the back somewhere who ain't gonna do shit, who ran away in Parkland, Florida, right? No, you need to. These teachers and these principals have a right to carry a firearm. They're Americans on American soil. They should have firearms if they have any training at all, and the competence to fucking pull it out and shoot somebody. And most of it, so yeah, there should be guns, a lot more guns in schools. But people are too fucking stupid to fucking they don't want to hear that. Guns keep people safe. That's why no one goes to my conference and gets shot, and no one ever will. Because anyone who tries that shit will just be fucking killed. That's how the jungle works, man. It takes someone with a gun to fucking kill somebody. So anyway, yeah, the deterrence I think is a huge factor, and the schools are missing that. They create a kill zone. This big collection of kids packed into fucking like sardines in the classrooms with no guns around. Of course, these people are attracted to it. They don't go to fucking gun range and shoot it up. You'll just get shot. You don't go to my conference and shoot people. You just get shot. They go to fucking schools, man.
Yeah, it's definitely a problem. And if I mean, the argument that more guns in schools would make it more dangerous, all you got to do is find anybody who went to school in America in the 80s, 70s, and ask them what it was like. There was not one school shooting that I heard about when I was in high school anywhere. I'm sure it happened somewhere, but it wasn't major news and it wasn't a massive thing. And then in the South, there were guns everywhere. I mean, like I said, there were guns everywhere. If you had a truck, pretty much if you had a truck in high school, you had to have a gun. It was like almost it came with the truck. Everyone had them. Nobody got shot.
I agree.
We would fight one another and we would make the big circle with the cars and shit, and you fight in the middle. And everybody had guns in the cars and nobody got shot because we were different people. We weren't pussies. We weren't cowards. We went from here. You took that ass whooping, go home and put some baloney on that shit, figure out what you did wrong, or quit fighting. You didn't go grab a strap and go smoke, motherfucker. That shit came with the Reagan era, with the crack and all that shit. It became about money. But before then, we just lace them up. That's gone. So now everybody's a pussy, and it's trickled all the way. Remember when cops used to be brave? Remember back in the day when that was the image? Cops were fucking heroes. Now they're just hiring whoever meets the qualifications. I think teachers, we need a dude right now. I was talking to Tony the other day. Right now, we're in a pivotal place. We don't need to go back to the old way. The old way sucks. It's fucked up. We need to create a new way. The new way needs to be based in morality, family values again, and needs to have that cohesion. Because without that, we're fucked. That's why they destroyed it. But what we've got to do is we've got to change the whole this public school system is garbage. It's breeding shithead kids that are fucking retards. The teachers are poisonous. They are fucked up teaching these kids the sick shit. So these people, we need to change how everything works. We don't need to send our children to these monsters anymore. We don't need to do any of the shit that we're doing anymore. So it's like it's kind of time for all the men to stop any divisive bullshit and say, how do we stop our country from burning? Because this is Rome. All of this, the valuation of our currency, letting the fucking barbarian hordes run across our Texas border ad nauseum, just come on in. They are doing the very fucking same things that the Roman leaders did when they were letting the country go to hell.
Yep.
What did the Roman people do? And what are our people doing? We're engaging these fucking weirdos, talking about pronouns, confusing kids, calling boys worthless and all this. All of this shit has to change. The whole structure from the time that I was a kid, it's been broken. I mean, we all came to this manosphere, red pill space because of trauma. You with your Medusa, me, same fucking situation. Same situation. Even though I knew it was a snake, I thought I could tame it. Oh, you dumb boy. Same shit. Here, man. Yeah, we all grew up, and you know why it happened? Because we believed a lie. We believed the fucking lie that was propagated in the 60s with all this liberation and shit. But it was fun because we were getting pussy. And so it was like, oh, I'm getting like, So it's time to say, okay, look, guys, I know that it's like when you quit smoking cigarettes. hey man, you shouldn't smoke. You get on everybody's nerves because now you realize that what you were doing was fucked up. And now your buddies are starting smoking when they drink. And now you're like, hey guys, you know, however many people die from lung cancer. Now your boy's like, shut the fuck up. That's how kids are when we talk now. Like, hey, listen, throwing your dick around everywhere is probably not the most healthy thing for you to do if you're trying to get on your grind in life. All the old shit, it's gone. So now maybe we need to go to the old shit. Like the old, like everybody says, what, you want to go back to the 50s? Yeah.
Nah, I want to go back to like the 1800s. I want to go back to 1800s, man.
There you
Like,
go.
let's do that.
Because in the 1800s, somewhere along the way, there was
late
a portion
1800s
of America that had black politicians. Like that was a real thing. So there's pictures of that. So if that was the case, that means we've been here before, and something that's broken in the matrix. There's a glitch in the matrix where black people and the people that are oppressed in this country find their way up, and then they fall back down to the shit. I think it's the black rednecks. It's the black rednecks and the other dumb. And I'm not talking about me and you, because I'm a black redneck in the sense of where I live and how I live. I'm talking about the dumb, illiterate Southerners that fuck their sister and preach the dumb shit. You look at white trash and look at the dumb niggas that are, oh man, it's the white man's fault. They're the same people. They're just different shades of melon, and they got the same mentality. It's the same shit.
Victim
those
mindset.
Dumb trailer park people own the dumb ghetto thug people. They're the ones who own your ancestors. You're acting just like them. And the dichotomy there is mind blowing. It's fucking mind blowing. But we're at a point now where we gotta. This whole shit that went on in Uvalde, it's not gonna stop. It is not gonna stop. This shit's gonna happen again and again and again because they've emboldened the criminals. There's going to be a bunch of people doing dumb shit, and it's going to be up to the men who would have charged that door. It's going to be up to those men, not the law enforcement, not the government. It's going to be up to the men of this country to say, we're not going down, or we're fucked. Simple.
Yep. A woman, brother. A woman.
A woman.
Right.
I want to shift gears to our final topic for the show. I want to close out by about 2 hours. It's been 1:37 so far. So recently, of course, the Manosphere had a pretty sudden death of probably its most high-profile, most famous creator at the moment, as it were. You know, when it happened a couple weeks ago now. Kevin Samuels, about 1.4 million followers just on YouTube, died. Some sort of heart thing, probably the Kufid jab, I would think, had a role in that. But who knows? It's I don't know exactly where all that went with the autopsy and stuff. But the most important thing is he's dead, and it was very sudden. And I put him now kind of on a meme, but it's a positive meme. Most of my memes are negative, making fun of people. This one's not making fun of anybody. This is much more serious. These are 4 Manosphere guys. They're all dead. Friends of mine. Andrew the Private Man, Andrew Hansen on the far right. He died in 2017 of eyeball cancer. That's why he has a patch on his eye. They took his eyeball out trying to save him. He ended up dying and the cancer spread. To the left of him is Stefan Arnio. He also died of cancer. He was pretty young. Andrew was in his 50s, mid-50s, similar to Kevin. And Stefan was in about 35 years old. He was pretty young. Then we got Pat Campbell. He died late last year, actually the day before my event, 20th Summit. He also died, I believe, of brain cancer. Got him. And he fought that for, I think, over a year. And he even had surgery and stuff trying to get it out. In the end, he didn't make it. Also in his mid-50s. Oh, no, he was about 61, actually, 61. He was the oldest out of the 4 here. Then, of course, Kevin Samuels. So I wanted to get you guys' takes on Kevin Samuels. I was critical of him in the end a little bit before he died. But I haven't retracted any of that, my criticisms. I was not happy with how he handled the Nicki Minaj stuff. He went soft on her, went easy. I was concerned he was kind of selling out. But when he died, I kind of stepped back and I kind of chewed on his whole life and the totality of his work. And I realized it was fun to make fun of him and go after him for that, try to push him in a more aggressive direction. But his life's work is much bigger than that. And his legacy is much bigger than just, a couple weeks and a couple months with Nicki Minaj shit. And I think he's a pretty cool dude, did a lot of good work. And he pissed off a lot of the right people and helped a lot of good people too. He actually made an impact in Black culture in America and for men and women more generally too, on top of that. So I kind of want to know what you guys think about Kevin Samuels here, his death recently and his impact on the manosphere and on masculinity and femininity in women and stuff.
I'll go first real quick. I didn't watch really very much of his content at all. I would watch a lot of the clips. I did watch one show one time, probably, I don't know, probably 6-8 months ago. And to me, it was more entertainment because I used to like the way he would just really handle people in a kind of a cool, calm, collective way. Unlike anybody else has, I think. Was it my kind of content? I don't think so. But now in retrospect, and I look at some of the things that he's done, I think he's made a huge impact on men and women. He just delivered the truth in his own special way. So that's kind of my quick take on it.
Paul, how did it what was your first reaction when you found out Kevin died? I thought it was fake news. I thought it was fake.
I thought
Like a
it was
hoax.
bullshit. At first, I was like, dude. At first, I thought Kevin was doing some slick shit to prove a point. You know what I mean? Because a lot of his stuff he was a genius with the way he would do his thumbnails and his titles and shit. A lot of things that he would have those little. There would be a message buried in the message, or something. There was a lot of. He was almost like an artist. And so when I first heard the rumor, I don't remember how I saw it, but I was like, okay, this has got to be some bullshit. I mean, the dude was just talking yesterday or whenever. I just saw a short clip of something he had just done. And, then going to find out that it was true, it's kind of fucked up. And the first thing that I thought about when I found out that it was indeed the truth, I wondered, did this dude take that Resident Evil so he could travel and do what he wanted to do? That was one of the biggest reasons why I wasn't jumping on a plane last year and I didn't come to the convention last year, was the fear of getting stuck and the fear of having to get stuck and putting a mask on. Like I'm a hardline jackass. If I say I ain't doing something, I'm really not gonna fucking do it. If I say I'm not putting a mask on, I'm not putting it on. So I was like, is this dude, did he get that shot? Did he get that fucking shot? If he did, that makes sense that he just fell over dead like that, because that's what's happening to a lot of like athletes that are in good shape. They're just dying from that myocarditis or whatever it is. So, I've never really been critical of him outside of him being kind of feminine, the way that he is. But I know I never question his masculinity or anything like that, because I don't give a shit I don't care. I mean, it wouldn't have surprised me, because those people often know more about women than dudes do. They also know about men because they're men. But that was neither here nor there. It didn't matter to me. I don't care about that. But the way he delivered shit, it's like, that sounds like I've heard that come from men before, but they weren't straight. But he's smart. He's articulate. And the kind of fraternity, that's what I was talking to Tony about the other day. I don't know what fraternity Kevin was in, but he was in one of those suit and tie, pretty boy fraternities, the clean dudes. Then you got the Omegas, the Q dogs, the loud ones, the dudes that end up in the fights and shit. When I went to college, my friends were the dogs, and the dudes that I looked at were like, I didn't want to be like, were the dudes like Kevin, the guys that wanted to be sophisticated and shit. I never wanted to do that. You know what I mean? It was never my desire to be in a position where I had to wear a fucking suit and cared about accessorize. Like, I always looked at that when
This was me making fun of him for that, by the way. Yeah. I really wanted to mess with him.
But here's the deal: the Nicki Minaj shit, I didn't watch it. I watched the clips of people saying this motherfucker should have went harder. I think if he was what everybody else wanted him to be, he would have done that. But Samuels was about making money. I mean, he said that to a couple of people. He made it very clear: I'm gonna make it, and I don't give a fuck. What do I have to do to make it? I get that mentality. He didn't really sell himself out, because what was he really? You know what I mean? A lot of people wanted to say, he should have done this. Yeah, I would have done that. I would have done that. Well, then get yourself in the position and do it. Get Nicki Minaj on your podcast, Fresh and Fit, or whoever the fuck would have done something different, and then you smash her teeth in. He was trying to be famous. He wanted to be famous. And going after Nicki Minaj, maybe he could have got some likes on YouTube. But what would that have done when Nicki Minaj went and put her fucking shit out? You don't want to piss that bitch off. That bitch has got way more followers than him.
I would have done it. I would have done it.
Yeah, you would have. But Kevin's a black man trying to promote excellence. You know what I mean? And
I think his
grown up
fans
there.
were. I think his fans were frustrated. The fans who commented, who were, some of them just hated me for posting the simp father stuff, but some of them, and some of them liked it, but some of them were in the middle. They were like, "I get why you're doing it, and I'm a fan of Kevin's, but I'm frustrated and I'm disappointed because they expected him to be consistent with the way he would treat your average woman, the average 30-year-old
Right.
single mom that comes on a show."
Yeah, that was hypocritical. The way I agree with you there. That was bullshit because when he got that other little whore on there that he talked to that was fucking the basketball dudes.
Brittany Renner.
That was
Brittany
talking
Renner.
about
Yeah.
what's her name?
Yeah. Brittany Renner.
That one.
Yeah.
He was pretty calm with her too. And she bragged about being a whore and all that. He should have kicked her teeth in with her own words. Now, had Brittany Renner been a busted up chick that was like the average at best woman, he would have annihilated her sitting there. He would have embarrassed that woman. So what he did on that I never really thought of it that way because like Tony, I wasn't a fan of his shit. Like I didn't watch every video he made. There was the ones that went viral when he would check because I like hearing him tell these black queens, that you're the queen of fucking nothing. You
boss
queen,
like boss bitch.
It's all of that mentality. And on the, like I always try to look at both sides of the shit. That mentality, that boss bitch queen mentality it's fucking infuriating. It's stupid. It's not true. You're not a fucking queen. You got a job, you pay your bills, and you get your herd did. You're not a fucking queen. You don't have a king. You don't have a kingdom. You got a job, bitch. You don't have a career. You have a job. But the problem is
here's a queen.
Yeah. See, and I like Jordan Peterson. I'm not a fan of him, but I like the shit. Some of the shit he says needs to be said to men that need to get off their ass. There is some shit when he starts talking on the feminist side, he goes a little bitchy there. Like he needs to tell women, you need to quit being whores. You need to he needs to quit being so fucking nice, but then he's going to step on his daughter's toes. So
that's why he doesn't do it.
He's treading carefully too. But with what Kevin did was he was trying to bring shit together. And I appreciated his message because what the black community suffers is most of their alpha males are emotional fucking little boys. They think that being a real motherfucker is doing violence, being explosive and loud and obnoxious. Like that's how your mother is. That's not your father. If he was a real man, he would. My dad and my uncles, those motherfuckers will go dispatch of somebody from our neighborhood that was doing fucked up shit. There was no hoopla, no nothing. We didn't even know about it until we became adults and we're like, yeah, you remember such and such who did such and such? Your dad and them did, and we're like, fuck. They didn't talk about it. They didn't high five. There was no conversation. They just did shit. This whole new, oh, man, I'm a man. And you're telling motherfuckers you're alpha, you're not. You don't tell people that you're a lion. You just are one. But that whole community's fucked up because these single mothers raise these emotional little boys that either they keep at home full time or they ruin them to where they go out and they're all fucked up. And so Kevin Samuels was dealing with the after effects of all that. Black women had to be the head of the household, the queen, because of slavery. They got taken away. If they had kids, it was their job to protect their sons because they didn't want their sons to get ripped in half by Massa, by the horse or whatever it was. So they became overprotective. I get that. That was a long fucking time ago. And it's time to quit running outside after your kid shoots 4 people and going, my baby ain't like that. No, the nigga is like that. And what Kevin was dealing with was all the mothers who have raised those kids. And I raised my boys, but where are they? Where are they? And some of them had good stories. My kid's a doctor. He's going to college. But a lot of them, they're not going to answer that question. Or a lot of them fucking lied about it. You know what I mean? So I think that the manosphere is particularly really the black manosphere lost the best thing that's ever happened to him because the dude hit over 1 million. He had over 1 million with warp speed. That shit was impressive. Mm-hmm. You can hate him, but you got to appreciate that for what it was. And he fucking went mainstream like he did.
And he wasn't a fraud. He hasn't lied. He didn't lie to get there. People were frustrated with some stuff in the end, like me with the Nicki. That's this minor stuff. He actually earned that through his own personality and his hard work.
And realistically though, I think if we're honest, I think that all of us to a certain point would do the same thing. Me and Tony were talking about that. It's all about the person that's talking to you. Do you respect them or not? Your reaction to them, how you take what they're saying to you, is going to be highly dependent on what you think of them, not what they think of you. If you don't have any respect for, like, I'll give you an example. If Donovan Sharp says something about you, Anthony, you'd be like, I don't give a fuck about what you think.
Yeah.
But if Tony was to say something, you're going to have a different, you still might go, whoa, what the fuck? But then you're going to go, why would he say that? I respect Tony. So why would Tony say that to me? Yeah. It's the same thing with when you're dealing with a mud duck, you're going to be, I mean, dude, look, she's ugly, she's fat, she's, and she's trying to talk to you with arrogance. I think we would all be a little bit harsher with her than a chick that's very fuckable and she's being arrogant. I think that I think it's almost human nature to look at her and go, man, I want to be mean to her, but she's so fuckable. You know what I mean? So I think we all gauge it to a certain extent. Maybe that's why Kevin did that. You know what I mean?
Maybe.
Status, and you're not talking to average at best. This is fucking Nicki Minaj here.
I mean, I'll say this. Like, I've never talked to a celebrity live like that, but I've talked. Piers Morgan and Susanna Reid are pretty big news personalities, particularly Piers Morgan. He just interviewed President Trump and shit, whatever. He rolls with President Obama, whatever. I handle myself. I'm really proud of how I handle myself on that interview. I haven't been so it's a similar situation to what Kevin was in, but I'll say this, like, you got to be in the heat of the moment. What is it? You got to be in the arena, I think is what men in the military would say. And I've been in that, and it's hard. It's really fucking hard. All these guys talking shit, not all of them, but 90% of them, they would melt. Nicki Minaj would melt these motherfuckers. Mm-hmm. If you're not who you are and ice fucking cold, you don't even have the option. Kevin Samuels had big enough balls. He had an option of how he wanted to handle that. Most guys would just melt. They would cuck. Donovan Sharp, fresh and fit. Look, Brittany Renner, that fucking little single mom
she
brat.
She melted them when they were face to face.
She melted those. Dude, that bitch, that woman is the exact same chick you'll find at any fucking downtown bar or nightclub in America. Typical single mom skankaroo. She melted
on the
those
table screaming. Woo!
Exactly.
She's wasted.
And she melted those little boys, Myron Gaines and Walter, whatever the fuck Weeks. She melted Fresh and Fit because they're fake.
Yeah.
Now, and so Kevin, I think he didn't get melted. He had an option and he chose an option I didn't agree with, but I think he was strong enough to have the option. A lot of these critics, they have no idea. They talk tough, right? Oh, internet alpha male, I'm ethog. Yep. I would have melted that bitch. Yeah, right. These news personalities and celebrities will walk all over you because the social pressure is real. She had 60 million fucking followers. That's a lot of pressure to come after you. Yeah. If she starts talking about you and I've had the media come after me. They have to come after my family after with the Make 'em and Great Again shit. This is heat, man. When you have family hitting you up, people coming after their job, people coming after you, people trying to find your fucking address, sending you fucking death threats and shit. This shit gets real quick, real hard, real fucking quick, man. And if you don't have the balls to withstand that shit, you'll get fucking melted. These people will run your ass over and you'll end up apologizing or being a little beta bitch with your little dick in your hand, the shrimp dick, like Myron and Fresh and Fit with Brittany fucking Renner. That was golden when she walked all over them.
And all, you know what's so fucked up about that situation is all Myron had to do is use the shit that she said. I mean, dude, she's like, what kind of person am I? All he had to do was like, well, shit, based off of your own words, you're a nasty slut. You're a nasty tramp.
Yeah.
Like that would have been, that's all this. All that needs to be said. Yeah. And you start laughing at her. They let her belittle them. When I look at chicks, this is the deal. When I look at, I don't give a fuck how hot a chick is. If I know she's been run through by a bunch of dudes, she's not hot anymore. Like that, I mean, especially if she's been run through by a bunch of fucking 6'9" dudes with radiator hoses between their legs. Bitch, I'm not trying to go nowhere near you. You think that you're a quality motherfucker? You've been gutted by these NBA players over and over and over again. You bragged about it, how big these dudes' dicks are. You think it makes you a rock star? Now, I'm not insecure about my shit, but I understand how dimensions work and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like that's insane for dudes to look at a chick that you know is a garbage dumpster. She's a fucking outhouse, and give her any leverage over you. Like the fact she sat there with that arrogance That dude that hosted that show, he set them up. They should have went off on both of those. They should have said something, but they said nothing. But I mean, it was
because they're little boys. They're little boys, man.
They didn't maintain frame.
Well, I think he did maintain frame. He went to this natural bitch frame. He fell out of his fake movie frame and went right. You know as well as anybody else does, Tony. When you fight, when you engage in a fight, you fall. It don't matter. It doesn't matter what you think, how many movies you watched, or what you want to believe. The moment you're engaged, you fall back to your base level of training. That's what Myra did. That bitch called him to the square, and he fell right into bitch mode. That's where he's comfortable. That's where he lives. Because had it been any of us, that would have been hilarious. I would have first questioned her posture. Like, what is all this bullshit? Like, what are you doing? What is this? You know what I mean? Like, she did that, and he got small. Like, fuck.
Yeah.
Checkmate.
Well, what was interesting is that she not only did it, I think she knew, like, it was a setup probably, but she, even independent of the setup, the podcast host facilitating this happening, she knew this would work. She's a predatory brat, and she spotted these beta males from a mile away, and all these other beta males that follow them are too stupid and too fucking beta to see it. These chicks that mow through, that leech off these beta males and fuck all these, these Chad half retard alpha males or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. They can walk through these beta males like butter, man, like nothing.
Oh, they're not dumb. I mean, she's a bunch of shit, but those bitches are not stupid. Yeah, they are like snakes, and that's why you got to watch them like a snake. I tell my dudes, fuck what she says. Watch her like you're a snake watching someone else, like you're a snake watching its prey. Snakes don't have any emotion about shit. I fuck with these snakes out here all the time. I pick them up, the good ones, and I play with them. And if you hold a snake and move it, that thing doesn't move. It looks at you, and it doesn't matter where you move it. It watches you because you're a threat. You're a threat. You've got it in you figured out. I can't get away from this motherfucker, and it will look at you. You got to look at women like that because that's the way they're looking at you. They're looking for those chinks in your armor. This dude just told me about his emotions. Put that in the book. They're fucking brutal. She's good at that. But I grew up dealing with hoes like that. Brittany Renner's the type of chick that I would have got back in my thug days. We had girls like that on the roster. We would get girls like that, and we would send them after the dealers that would come into our era, flashing money, throwing money. Go get them, girl. Shit, man. Wow. We'd be waiting in the hotel room that she took them to. It's easy, fucking easy. That's what she is.
Wow.
That's who she is. That's what I see that bitch as, man.
Yeah, predator like a snake. Yeah, they watch you. Exactly.
Well, fucking predator, but she's smart, but she's dumb. Because all you got to do, like the dudes that she deifies, those dudes can get that girl to commit felonies. They can get her to do anything. Because she's stupid, but she's smart. Like fresh and fit, they don't understand that part of those women's nature. But I can see it a mile away, dude.
There's a saying in the manosphere a couple years ago I saw that basically a lot of women, and Brittany Renner is a perfect example, they confuse intelligence with being clever, with cleverness. Brittany is not intelligent, but she's clever. Yeah. And that's how she can, to me, that's kind of, it's more cunning. It's a cunning, and it's a specific kind of intelligence, a cunning.
Yes.
And to manipulate these witty. Yeah.
She's witty enough. And what she does is that snake. She's not a snake that can just bite you with her venom because she's not that hot. She's not intelligent. She doesn't have anything going for her other than her fuckability. But what she does is she will take whatever little morsel that she gets and she will use that thing. She'll use that thing. And it's that little thing. It's that little, you must have a small dick. If she senses that about you, and that's going to put you in this, well, I got a big dick. And now she owns you now. Like, what are you worried about the size of my dick? You ain't going to get none of it. Like, that's the proper response to your bullshit ass. Like, bitch, you probably got a giant pussy. Like, what's wrong? But that's when women like that, they know how to find those insecurities in a dude's armor and then stick their finger in like, God damn, that's a sharp fingernail. And then they start trying to, oh no, my armor, it just had a hole in it. Like, no, bitch, get your fucking finger out of there. It doesn't belong. That's what those dudes lack. Manhood.
I hope they turn around someday and stop being frauds and man the fuck up and become men, but that not likely. I mean,
It'll happen when
these,
they get off the internet. It'll be
yeah,
down the line. You know,
yeah,
right
yeah,
now they've got a rift. They're making money off of it. You know what I mean? They got these useful idiots that are tuning in.
yep.
The worst case scenario, they're getting ad revenue and shit like that. So it's working. They're doing a job. But if these dudes move in real life the way that they act online, which it looks like they do, they're going to be losers for a long time because the shit doesn't work in real life.
Yeah, well put. Well, boys, appreciate you tuning in today, hopping into the show. Episode 166 of the Red Man Group, Make Men Great Again. It's been a really fun conversation. A lot of good dialogue, a lot of good conversation about pretty important issues, from the frauds to the school shooting to toxic masculinity, single moms, Kevin Samuels, Brittany Renner, all these beta males and shit. It's been a good show. Make sure everybody watching, thanks for tuning in, of course. Come in next Saturday. It should be 11 a.m. sharp with a new guest. Check out the description, and you'll see links to Paul's channel, both his channels on YouTube and Rumble. And I'm going to put Tony's channel as well on the link. Tony's growing. He's got about 2,200 and something, maybe more, subscribers. So subscribe to his channel. He does shows usually every Thursday night and usually every Saturday night. Not always, but usually.
Yeah, I haven't done Saturday nights in a while. Just Thursdays are really busy. So.
Yeah. You don't want tonight or no?
Nope.
Okay. All right. Well, anyway, check out Tony's channel. He'll be at 21 Convention this year. And he'll be, of course, Paul will be there too as a speaker at the men's event and the fatherhood event. So check it out. Get tickets at 21studios.com. Link in the description. All tickets go to Hookers and Blow. So I appreciate it. Coming out to the event. Our events are very real and very physical. There is a virtual ticket to the men's event if you really want to watch it online. So I'm not going to stop you if you want to do that. It's a cool ticket. But ultimately, it's about coming out in person, being physical, shaking hands, meeting face to face, asking these speakers like Paul, like Tony, like myself, and dozens of others, asking them tough questions that you can't even ask on the internet without getting banned and censored and shit like that, and building relationships and friendships too. I've known guys at these conventions for many years, Tony, 4 or 5 years, some speakers over 10, 15 years, stuff like that. So coming out, build relationships, build friendships, and support the Manosphere's only TED Talks for Men, where all speech is published free to the world. Anyway, Paul, Tony, thanks for your time today. Everyone check out the links to their channels in the description. Thanks for tuning in. Hit the like button and leave a regular comment to help feed the algorithm bullshit on YouTube and drive more people to find the videos that we have on our channels. Paul, Tony, thank you very much. Any last words?